Thank you, staff, for joining me tonight. This training. I know you'd rather be watching a movie, eating ice cream right now, but I really appreciate you sacrificing your time to be here this night. And tonight, I am going to train you guys on something called the inclusion process. And first of all, the inclusion process, it's a 7-step process that is great to use if you want to run a program, start a recreation league, or really any business, really. So I'm going to talk about that. This is called the inclusion process, like I mentioned. So just be remembering that name as we're going through this. So step 1 of the inclusion process is program promotion. Whatever program you're running, you've got to be able to promote it, which that's advertising and just getting it out there. Some things to remember here are what are ways that you know how to advertise and that you feel like you could do your best in. Because when you're advertising, you got to be excited about it. You got to be trying your best to get it out there. Is that social media? Is that literally printing out physical copies of paper and putting it out there? Is that just going word by word, going store to store and just telling people what works best for you? Whatever works best for you, do it. So that's step 1, is just promoting your program. Step 2 is registration process. And with this, when we're talking about that people with disabilities, we want to include everyone. So when we are creating registration sheets, we need to have a list, a place on that piece of paper, on that registration paper, that if they have a disability, they can list it there. However, sometimes, I'm not sure how often, but there are times where kids or people that want to sign up but have a disability won't list their disability because they feel ashamed about it or scared that they'll feel left out. So if that happens, we need to make sure that give them the option that if they don't feel comfortable listing their disability, they need to call the director, and then they can talk with the director about their concerns, and the director would be happy to talk with them. So literally put that on the paper. Say, if you don't feel comfortable listing your disability, call our director and talk with him about your concerns. Literally say that. Step 3, accommodations and supports. So whatever league or thing you're making, you've got to be able to figure out how you're going to accommodate including everyone, including those with a disability. If someone that is in a wheelchair wants to come and play in your basketball league, how are you going to accommodate him playing? Just different things like that. You've got to figure that out. Step 4, staff training. So if you get a staff together, it could be one person, could be 10 people. How are you going to train them? How are they going to know what to do in different situations that they're going to come across? What are you going to do to train them? Step 5 is program implementation. Literally implement those steps that we've talked about. With step 1, advertising, and step 2, and step 3, and step 4, do those things. And step 6 is document your progress that you're making. How are you going to document it? Are you going to make videos? Are you going to make notes? How are you going to document it? How are you going to see if you're making progress? And then step 7, the last step, is evaluation. This is where you bring everyone together to evaluate how you did with your goals that you made. If your goal was to include everyone as possible, and if some people with a disability join your program, how did you do in including them? So that's the last step, and get everyone together, like I said. So you'd even want to get that person with a disability, you want to get their parents to come and talk with them and get their point of view on how they feel that we did in inclusion. If that was your goal, how did you do? So those are the 7 steps, guys. Just a real quick recap. Step 1, program promotion. Step 2, registration process and assessment of needs. Step 3, accommodations and supports. Step 4, staff training. Step 5, program implementation. Step 6, documentation. And step 7, evaluation. Thanks for joining me, guys. Travel safe.